How's it going, guys? Winter Kills here, and welcome to what will be a pretty laid-back ban list discussion video. So, as many of you know, the ban list has updated amidst this very, very slow format because of current events. I'm sure all of you are aware of at this point. If you're not, you're probably living under a rock. But of course, for good reason. The cancellation of events and things like that. A lot of people wondering, and I know we're speculating that we might not even get a ban list until most of this stuff, starts to show signs of clearing up. But we're getting it now, which is interesting to see because it gives the player base something to work with while everybody's, locked up at home, if you will, quarantined. You got a new list to work with. Play testing online can begin for quite a few people, myself included. But we're gonna go through and run it down. I've already seen the list. I don't have like a super fire initial reaction to give you guys. Really just my initial thoughts, sort of the damage control. Things that I wish they would have hit, that I wish they didn't have hit, because I'm already looking at it. Little poor glow up bulb had to take one for the team, but I understand why he has to sit this format out. But of course, it said, I'm pretty sure it said it would be no sooner than the 30th. But I think it's the 24th, so they obviously had reason to change, I guess. And now it says the next list will be no sooner than June 1st. So, who knows? Who knows? Dual Overload is just released, obviously, affecting most of the things we see on this list. And the first one we see is Blackwing Steam the Cloak. This one is a no-brainer. This card is absolutely absurd, especially with Needle Chief. I think, it going to 0, I think a lot of people were expecting. I think it makes 100% sense. Then we see Destrudo the Lost Dragon's Prison. I think that this is a little bit odd to me. I know the little time I was chatting with people about the ban list for the time that I had, because I just had to run out and go, get some takeout food. And I didn't have time to make this video immediately when I saw the news. Some people were, saying that Destrudo itself, it kind of seems a little weird. And it does, but I guess with, Master Rule 5, this is obviously set to go in effect, until April 1st is when it will go into effect. Which is the start of Master Rule 5, Master Rule 4 revision, whatever you want to call it. So, synchros and all this other stuff gets very, very powerful. Destrudo does promote a lot of synchro-heavy play, so I guess trying to balance that in some way, shape, or form. I feel like synchros are still not that great, but although Destrudo does help to tutor out Needle Fiber, I guess it's really not so much to slow down synchros as to slow down Needle Fiber, so I guess that makes sense to me. Almost forgot him. But it is, it's also a little side effect to, Block Dragon BA, because this is one of those extenders that the deck happen to play that also is sort of in the line of fire with being accused, as a problem card with Needle Fiber. Same thing with Glow Up Bulb. It is unfortunate, but we do have ways to work around it. Obviously, still be able to pull off Nat Beast within the deck, or maybe the deck sort of evolves into a version that maybe just main decks Imperial Order, whatever it might be, or playing cards like Recover or the new Adamastia level 1 Earth Tuner, whatever those might be. So that could allow for some substitutes, of course. I'm really just upset because I had an Ultimate Rare Glow Up Bulb that was gifted to me as a birthday present from a very good friend, and I can no longer play it for the time being, so it is unfortunate. And then Lunalight Tiger, I'm very happy to see this. I was wondering how bad they would hurt the Lunalight deck, because if you guys saw that testing duel I uploaded of Block BA versus Lunalight's post-duel Overload MR5, it was disgusting. Not only what my deck could do, but, his deck takes it literally to a whole nother level with how, especially the consistency. And I think Tiger going to 0, it makes sense. But there's some other hits on here that, sort of counterbalance it in the other direction, I guess. The give and take, as it always is. Spiral Master Plan going immediately to 0, is interesting to see. That deck was seemingly running rampant for the longest time with the release of Magician Souls, and Master Plan going to 0 definitely hurts a bit, for sure. So I'm okay with that. And then nothing else being banned, only just a few notable monster bans here. Then we're going to head into the limited, where we have Danger Jackalope and Tsuchinoko, seemingly to this day the most powerful of the dangers, of course, alongside with, I believe, Nessie, Jackalope, and Tsuchinoko all at once. So this is slowly addressing the dangers, and I feel like this is like the only way to do it, is just slowly hit all of them down to 1, to the point where their discard effects are, you know, you're not going to always be able to take advantage of them, because if at any point, you know, your Nessie or your Tsuchinoko is out of the deck, your Jackalope, if it gets hit, it's just going to miss, and you're going to go -1. So I feel like that's okay. Again, that's a slight secondary hit to block Dragon BA. That's fine. I still might play Nessie again, and just play the 3 dangers, I guess, and maybe throw in some other extenders, because we have tons of extenders to work with, which is nice. They're just not as optimal. But I guess one thing's for sure is that lately I haven't been enjoying the dangers as much. Maybe it'll open up some cards like Defrag Dragon, which of course is a dark monster that can substitute a card like Destrudo, a dark dragon, for Curious. ABC Dragon Buster, this makes a lot of sense to me. ABC is looking to be insane with Union Carrier, the Union Driver card. This deck is looking very, very powerful under Master Rule 5, so I feel like this is a preemptive hit to slow it down what could be a very powerful contender, especially when there really is no defined meta currently. I mean, there sort of is with Invoked Mekk-Knight Shaddoll, or Invoke Shaddoll, and Spirals, and things like that, and Dino. So I guess that's okay to see. Yeah, I guess it's all right, because it keeps a bit of a balance, if you will, at least in my opinion. Hyper Librarian going to 1, that makes sense, I guess. I didn't really see, in my opinion, like right off the bat, too many synchro spam decks that were gonna just start exploding out of the woodwork where Hyper Librarian would be able to be abused. But I think this is okay, especially since we're under sort of the Master Rule 3 restrictions now with everything else other than links and pendulums. I guess it makes sense. Same thing with Trish going back to 1. That is okay as well. And then Totally Awesome. This is surprising. Toad spam was going to be a very real thing. I know one person who might be very upset about this. Paleo player you guys have seen on the channel quite a few times. He might be upset a lot or not at all. Who knows how those players will take this card going to 1. I know as a Mermail player, not super upset, because I know in most cases I ever at max played 2 Toad within the extra deck, which is okay. Trident going to 1. This is interesting. It doesn't make too big of an impact, in my opinion, on a broad use. I don't think people are going to be teching in Zodiac monsters within their main deck, or, you know, barrages, which is, you know, spoiler alert, has gone to 1 as well. You know, in order to get 1 additional interruption on your end board. I just don't see it happening. There's only 1 deck that I can see that is going to be able to take advantage of the Zoo engine that is now sort of been revived, and that, of course, is this Lunalight deck. So it's a give and take. They've given the Dryden, of course, they take away the Tiger. Instant Fusion going to 1. This, for the overall health of the game, makes sense. But as a Mermail player, I cannot help but be a bit upset that they've taken away Instant Fusion. Of course, with Cross Sheep, we've essentially gotten Norden back just for our specific deck. Be able to go into Bahamut to detach a Dragoons, to go into Toad to get a Surge, etc., etc. I think playing the 1 of Instant Fusion will still definitely be worth it. In the main deck space, it makes sense, but regarding the 1 extra deck slot, it might, I don't know. I think it still will probably be worth at the end of the day. But it was such a solid, you know, thing to look forward to for Mermails, but it's now gone, of course. But it is what it is. The 1 of Mind Control now, I think decks will still play this. I guess it depends on the deck. Pure Mekk-Knight, I would still definitely play this. I would still definitely play the 1 of Instant Fusion. For those that are probably wondering, I know yesterday I just released a Pure Mekk-Knight deck profile, which of course now has some cards in it that are hit. But it is what it is. Luckily, not too many cards in that deck getting hit to make a drastic change overall. And then, as I mentioned earlier, Zodiac Barrage, of course, going to 1. This makes a lot of sense if you're bringing Dryden back, especially with a deck like Lunalight. If Lunalight does not exist, I think Dryden coming back on its own with Barrage staying at 3 is okay. Because Rat is still at 1. Broad Bull is still banned. I don't see it doing too much on its own, but we're not talking about what it's doing on its own. We're talking about what it's doing with the Lunalight deck, giving it now A really good extension option, which would have been the triple barrage to be able to have Dryden on top of this end board. Of course, is now slowing down a bit, and that is the last card that has been limited. Semi-limits, Mally going back to 2. This card has been a roller coaster. Tour Guide still staying at 2. And then Widow Anchor going back to 2. Or, well, I think it never was at 2. I think it went to 3 to 1, now back to 2. Similar, I think, like in the OCG, it was at 2. And then Deep Sea Diva. I mean, I got to be happy about that. That's right. I'm not happy about the $100 super rares. I guess I'm in no rush to really pick up a third physical copy for the time being, since there are no locals to go to, no events to attend, things like that. So hopefully those prices will go down for those Mermail players that are watching. I wouldn't, worry too much. I feel like those prices will continue to go down. The hype is real right now. But yeah, I honestly, I'll say it. I'd rather have 2 Diva than 1 Instant Fusion. I will go on the record and say that. But it is what it is. I'll take 3 Diva, of course. I got to be happy about that. Then Necroface going to 3. Who cares? I personally don't. I don't see any impact this will have whatsoever. Spiral Gear Drone, that makes sense too. They just banned Master Plan. Sure, bring Drone back to 3. I think that's fair. And then Pot of Avarice going to 3 does not make a difference whatsoever. Card is very bricky as is. To say it's still a very good card, but it does have its consistency in its own right. So yeah, that is it for my little Banlist reaction, live Banlist reaction video. If you guys enjoyed, if you did, be sure to leave a like. Let me know, most importantly, I want to hear what your guys' thoughts are down in the comment section below. Let's try to make this a bit of a discussion. I'll be trying to answer comments as much as I can. Don't forget to hit the join button if you want to become a member of this channel. Be greatly appreciated. And don't forget to check out Imperium Duelist and my affiliate link to TCG Player down in the description below if you want to help support the channel in doing what I do. It'd be greatly appreciated. As always, guys, we're going to signing out. We'll see you guys in the next one.